Hello, this is Lance King, and I'm here with Josh Johnsen. He is the Executive Vice President of Advanced MD, and as many of you know, Healthcare Compliance Solutions has become a partner with Advanced MD to provide our customers service that we'll be talking a little bit more about. What I can tell you is that Advanced MD has cloud-based services that help out with things like EMR, helps out with billing services, telemedicine, and again, we'll get into some more of the details. So what we're going to do today is Josh and I are going to talk specifically about him and some of his background, how he was introduced into Advanced MD, and some of the things that they're working on to continue to improve and develop to meet more private practice and more hospital needs. Now, what we'll do first is just ask a few questions that, again, they're kind of who is Josh? Who at the heart?
I love to talk about myself, so this is great. So.
Okay, so my first question is, when you were in high school, would people have said that you were more of a jock, a preppy, a nerd, and
it's a great question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in a very much a sports family, passion for sports, played 4 sports in high school, so I think people would probably say I was a very nice jock. So I was very, always been very friendly and outgoing, but have had and constantly have a passion for sports. 5 children, 4 boys,
okay,
all very much into sports.
4 boys.
Yeah, 4
okay.
boys. I've coached probably 60 plus little league teams from basketball, baseball, football, so I grew up in a sports family. Grandfather was a high school coach for 42 years.
Okay.
So I grew up with that competitive sports background.
Right.
Yeah.
And so an athlete, right now, are you coaching?
I am coaching, yeah. I have my sophomore son's basketball team that I coach.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Cool. The season probably just started.
It did. Yeah, we're 2-0.
Okay.
I've had undefeated teams that have won AU championships.
Oh, really?
I believe a very high effort, aggressive, press, fast-paced offense, preach sportsmanship. So,
okay. So what is it that motivates you to teach and to coach?
You know, I've always had a passion for sports,
yeah.
And I love being in a position, and that's one of the things that I'm drawn to about sales and sales leadership, at making that positive impact in someone's life, whether it's through coaching or I love to take people and have those effort people and just really help them hone in on developing that skill set.
Okay.
It's a passion of mine.
Where does that come from? Was there some advice that you were given when you were younger that drove you? Were there examples? I mean, where does that passion come from?
I would say, my grandfather was heavy into sports.
Oh, okay.
He played collegiately and played semi-pro.
Oh, really?
I've had family members, cousins that have played collegiately and some into the NBA, and
wow.
So we grew up in a very much a sports family, and that was a big thing. My father I would say is that example for me. He was an incredible, give me effort 100% of the time type person.
Yeah.
And I grew up that same philosophy. I love effort people, whether it's sales, whether it's sports. I don't like people that quit. I like people that have that constant ability to, continue on.
Sounds like you're in a good position at this company.
I hope so. I hope so.
Is there a favorite quote that comes to your mind when you do have those times, like most people, where
absolutely,
you're like, hey, I'm in the trenches right now?
Yep. I love what Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Explains everything. If you have the mindset that I can overcome this obstacle, I can achieve my goals, I can do X, Y, Z, whatever it is, you're going to do it. And if you have that same mindset, like it's too hard, I can't, you're not going to do it. So whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
Right.
My favorite quote.
Do your kids hear that a lot?
My kids hear it. You can ask every employee here. They've all heard it a million times. So, yeah. There's more. I love quotes.
So what would you say have been some of your greatest challenges where that's really been attested? That quotes come to mind and you've really been tested on.
Yeah, I think from a professional standpoint, anytime I've moved into a new opportunity that had some challenges or struggles, I can think of 2 times in my career where I moved into a new opportunity and there were some challenges and struggles. And as you try to reform and reshape the culture of the organization, you have to deal with what was there in the past and some of those challenges, and they either get on board or you find people that will take that philosophy.
Okay.
So I ask for every single rep in my philosophy is willing, capable, and committed. Be willing to do what it takes to succeed. Are you committed to doing what it takes to succeed? And are they capable? If they're not capable, you have an issue right there.
Now, how long would you say you give people a chance to demonstrate that commitment?
Yeah.
Because that's tough for a lot of people.
It can be, and there's different people learn at different rates. And so we kind of have a philosophy of when they come in and go into training and so forth, we give them plenty of time to get ramped up and to get onto plan. And so we have very high retention rates, so we believe overall very successful, but we give people ample time to show that. So it's not like you miss your first month and you're fired.
Right.
That's not the culture we're developing. We're developing a culture of people that want to be here long term and want to have a long term career with the organization.
Okay. Now, you have a nickname. Do you mind, we've talked a little bit about it. Do you mind sharing what your nickname is and how that came about?
So part of a culture, I believe, is creating that fun, dynamic environment. And I've always been, just with growing up in a family of 8, love nicknames. And so I started years ago when I first became a sales leader, going back to 2002.
Okay.
I was first promoted in my first position as a sales manager, and I ran a remote office in Salt Lake City. So it was me and the sales team.
Okay.
And I just started calling people nicknames, and so it stuck.
Okay.
And I had a nickname as well. I was playing in a company softball game, hit a single up the middle, athlete, like I said, doesn't look like it now, but I just was on my horse and stretched into a double, and one of the reps said, "You're the fastest big man I've ever seen. You're like a puma." So Puma stuck.
That's cool.
So now we have the Puma Dome and Puma apparel and all kinds of stuff. So.
That's cool.
Much to the chagrin of my family, who thinks I'm self-promoting. But every one of our reps here have a nickname. They're given a nickname, and it's part of the humor and the culture of creating that environment where they want to stick.
Right. I like that a lot. And when they think of their nickname, it probably helps inspire and motivate them.
Culture is a very important piece for a sales organization. There was a great book, and one of the great quotes said, "Culture eats strategy for breakfast." So retaining, and everyone knows the simple philosophy in sales, retention drives productivity. The more your reps get familiar in how to do it, they become more successful. So we've always had a culture or develop a culture of retention.
I love that. Now, how did you transition into this culture? And in your mind, how do you feel like the company saw you as a fit?
Yeah, so Advanced MD.
Yeah, Advanced
So
MD.
I was with ADP, and of course, if people know, ADP purchased Advanced MD. I was living in Colorado.
Okay.
I was VP of sales for a region of ADP, which is a large organization. And when they purchased Advanced MD, it was in my backyard. I'm from Salt Lake City, and this is where the corporate headquarters are. ADP appointed Raul Villar, who was the head of sales for ADP for many years, many of the channels that I worked in, as the president and CEO. And so when this happened, I, of course, was very interested because it was an opportunity to come home to where I'm from and where my family is.
Absolutely.
And so I had a good relationship with Raul. I always was successful at ADP, and that's an important piece. And
certainly.
So when an opening came open for one of the channels, there's 5 channels within the sales organization. I moved back to run that particular channel, and then, of course, about 2.5 years ago, was promoted to run all of sales.
Wow. So you started out as a vice president. Does it go to district?
So I took a lateral move. I was a VP of sales for ADP. I took a lateral move to be a VP of sales over a channel. Then under the ADP world, it's called divisional vice president. Under the Advanced MD world, it's executive vice president of sales. And I have VPs of sales that run different channels. That report up to me.
And Advanced MD is across the nation.
It is,
Okay.
Across the nation.
And you're a cloud-based company.
Correct.
So what does that mean for those that are watching that are just getting into new private practice?
It means wonderful news for you. Get rid of that server and the clunkiness of that. And when we say cloud hosted, it's secure, it's safe, and provides all that protection. But it's not hosted on their site, so it's in the cloud, stored in the cloud, which is good from a data perspective. Text them. They don't need the system. They need systems to operate certain systems, but they don't need the big, huge data storage piece of it.
Now, for those,
I like to say we're the leader in the clouds.
That doesn't surprise me that you'd say that. So, Josh, I'm curious. We work with a lot of practices that, again, are just starting out. Many of them, we have many dentists, for example. So let's just say a dentist starts a new practice, and they look at an advanced MD as maybe being a little bit too big for them. How would you talk to those private practices that are just starting?
That's a great question, and we hear that all the time. Of course, Advanced MD is a wonderful large company, and we can service all scales, so to speak. But our actually average size practice has 3 physicians in the practice, and we have thousands of clients say that have one solo provider that we take care of them. So we scale with the practice, but we started with the small physician practice. Independent physicians is where we started. So we're able to service whether you have one provider or 25 providers, we can take care of you.
Okay, I like that you say that you scale with them.
Yeah, and we have such a heavy focus on the retention of the customer, being a customer for life. And so when they're new and starting out and they're worried about the expensive cost of starting a new practice, so to speak, and what software they're going to use, we can accommodate that small, independent, one provider, funds are tough, to where they are able to grow and to grow with them and provide different tools and technology and different options for practice.
Okay, so I think you've got the attention of a lot of individuals who are a smaller practice. Let me ask this question. So what would you say are some of the major issues for somebody starting out practice where they would then want to turn to a company like Advanced?
Yeah, so you got to think about one of the major issues if you're providing a service is getting paid for that service.
Yeah.
And the challenge of dealing with insurance and compliance and so forth is overwhelming to a small practice. On average, the average physician is going to see their first 2 patients for free every single day because of their inability to bill and claim.
Right.
And so our claim to fame and where we do so well is we guarantee for our clients a 95% first pass claims guarantee. Industry average is 70%, which is where I get my data from, showing that your first 2 patients on average you see for free. So we come in and offer a way to be efficient to where they can bill. We have a great claims scrubber, which is one of the reasons we do so well, but we're able to come in and make sure they get paid for the service they provide.
Okay.
And that's a challenge. If you're not getting paid, everything's irrelevant. If you can't collect the money and you're dealing with all the challenges, then it's not going to matter.
Okay, so you've talked about building. What are some of the other services that you?
And so I'll kind of take a step back and talk about the services we offer.
Yeah, that'd be great.
We set 5 channels in sales. There's 3 major sales channels. You have what's called Practice Direct, and that is where we sell the software to the independent physician practice.
Okay.
It's they use our software to do the billing, and that's where we have all the bells and whistles that allow them to bill and receive and get paid for it. The second piece is we work with billing companies, and so they use our software to provide that service for their clients. And the final one is actually the revenue cycle management piece, where we act as the biller for them and collect the revenue, doing the heavy lifting, so to speak. So those 3 channels, and within the software there's multiple things we can do. Obviously the patient experience is very important. We want the practice to be able to retain their patients that come in. So we have things like patient portals that make it convenient for them to be able to log in and access the information, to be able to do all that heavy lifting before they arrive to the practice, to get the forms and things they need to fill out. So there's some different nuances to the product that allow the practice to provide a better service to their patients.
Okay.
And you mentioned earlier telemedicine. We do telemedicine, which is obviously a very fast-growing component. A lot of people are looking for the ease and convenience, and so they're able to have that appointment from the comfy confines of their own home without having to go to the office themselves.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people, technology is definitely moving forward. What would you say to those people that are a little bit, that have been very seasoned, have done things for 20 years to then transition into something like
so
Advanced?
The true mark of an organization is how we're going to take care of them, and so I deal with it every single day. Apologize for that.
Oh, you're fine.
Turn it off. I deal with that every single day when you're dealing with obviously someone that is rooted in how they've done things in the past. And we always help them understand that we're going to help them and walk them through the process. That setup, the implementation, and where we've been so successful is taking that philosophy of we want you as a customer for life, and so helping them and walking them through the challenges of getting set up and submitting their first claim is often a challenge for a brand new practice. And so we help them migrate from archaic old methods to the tools and technology that make life convenient.
Yeah. So another thing, so implementation specialist, that's something that Advanced has to help make that
Yeah, so when we sign on a new practice, the very first thing that is done is obviously collecting all the documentation and so forth. They're transitioned to our implementation team, where they have an implementation associate that is assigned to their account that actually walks them through and helps them with the setup. And, whether it's things like they're getting credentialed or whatever the case may be, whatever they are from their practice standpoint, established or brand new, the implementation specialists work on milestones with them and go through and help them all the way through first pass claim submission. So the very first time they submit that first claim, we're with them all the way. And once they're successful and know the product, they're then assigned to, and they have our service specialists that can help answer any questions they want, and we have a client sales team that can help sell additional products should they need it, or their practice grows and they want to advance the practice, so to speak. Obviously populated analytics tools where we can help benchmark them against people in the same industry and doctors in the same area and how they're doing compared to their peers. So
what are some of the what would you say are who are the most likely types of practices that are utilizing your service?
Yeah, so it's interesting because I could really cover any of the specialties. You could go through any of the specialties you want, from surgeons to OBGYNs to family practice. There's something for all of them. We have a wonderful hunter therapy team, the ever-growing need for the mental therapy side, physical therapy and mental health. So we can cover any of those specific specialties and help them all.
Yeah, I think that's important for people to know. And I know a lot of people that we talk with at Healthcare Compliance Solutions, typically we'll talk with administrators who often will inform us that doctors, they like to be in control. They like to have control over what's going on, and they have a hard time releasing that to someone else. How would you talk to somebody who's struggling with that?
Absolutely great question. And once again, I feel like I'm almost on a sales call with this. So we have, in terms of, it's not necessarily giving up control, because the doctor can have everything at their fingertips, all the data and information they want, but it's a more effective way for them from a claim submission standpoint. And we're trying to cut off time. Time is money for a physician.
Absolutely.
So if they're in the past where they're paper charting everything, and it's obviously not very secure or safe to begin with, but it takes a lot of time. And now you can use technology. You could process information and sit down with a patient using an iPad or an iPhone of some sort, be able to document everything, which goes right into the main system. So it just makes it easy and convenient. And it's no longer trying to figure out what you're writing or using paper or charts to diagnose and take care of the patient.
Thank you for answering that.
There's a lot of energy in the industry today as well to move to the technology, and doctors, of course, are incentivized to move away from paper charts or penalized to using an electronic system of some sort.
I want to go back to that implementation part just for a minute. So an implementation specialist, so again, from what I've gathered, they'll help from their very first submission.
Correct.
But what kind of things do you do where you're reaching out on a regular basis? Because I suspect, like you said, you have several different people.
So it starts with a very simple, once they're sold, they get a welcome call. Hi, I'm your implementation specialist. I'm going to be helping you. They'll go through a series of milestones that need to be accomplished, such as, gathering the information, putting it in the system, completing, of course, and training them on what to use. There's also wonderful, helpful tools where they can access and look at videos. So it's not just they're isolated to this one individual, but they can call in as much as they want. They also have regular meetings every week where they'll block out time and help them understand how to use the system, all the way till that very first claim submission. And once that claim submission is successful and it goes well and we're sure they're getting paid, we transition them to a different team where they still have the same love and support they were getting with implementation. And that's actually from a sales standpoint, speaking from a sales standpoint, it's a competitive advantage for us. We believe our implementation team is fantastic. They're well trained. We're always trying to find ways to improve. And so that's a big component for us, is helping the reluctant physician or practice into transitioning to something new can often be scary. And we're there to hold their hand through it.
So I have a question about maybe some of those of you that are watching that are already utilizing advanced MB services.
Yep.
Do you have any sort of a program, like let's say somebody's watching this and they're thinking about somebody right now that could utilize some
Absolutely.
of the services? What do you,
Yep.
do you have an incentive program?
Of course we do, absolutely. We're in sales, yes, we have a great incentive program.
course.
We actually have a wonderful incentive program where if they refer someone to us that uses us, there are, of course, decrease in cost for them, so to speak, off their invoicing,
okay.
as well as some other incentives and things that we'll provide for them. So
Okay.
we have a wonderful client referral program, which we call.
Okay, so is that a monthly fee that they pay?
It's a monthly
Based on
fee
the
that they
service?
pay, correct.
Okay.
Based on the amount of providers. Sometimes it can be based on, there's two options. You can do it based on the amount of claims you're submitting. So those, what we call those encounters, or
Okay.
they can pay an overall subscription for unlimited use.
Okay, great. What is getting you charged right now at the moment? What are some of the things you're working on right now that's something that you're planning on releasing in the next little while?
That's a great question. A look behind the curtain, so to speak.
Yeah,
so
that's okay.
We have a wonderful product team, and our CTO is absolutely fantastic, innovative,
Yeah.
comes with years and years of experience in healthcare.
Okay.
Healthcare IT is absolutely fantastic. And so each quarter we have a monthly meeting where we talk about some of the releases, and we have what's called a product roadmap.
Okay.
And so a lot of it right now is not only enhancements to the current product, but additions as well. Whether it's fixes in scheduling, so to speak. If you look at group sessions, therapy sessions,
Yeah.
we've made adjustments to where they can actually do group sessions and so forth. So you look at the scheduler.
Okay.
But there's always enhancements to the product that comes out to help the practice get better. Telemedicine is fairly new to us.
Yeah, it's fairly new to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I just imagine, because we've talked a lot about various aspects of what Advanced is doing. Say somebody is watching this and they say, "Well, I may need something. Where do I go from here?"
Yeah.
Do you have a team then that
Absolutely.
can then direct them?
Yep, so the great thing about our sales organization, there's a lot of specialization. So you have actually reps that will deal with specific specialties. As I mentioned, we have a full team dedicated to the mental health and physical therapy specialties. It's a very growing specialty in itself. We have those that deal with the ologies or the surgeries. We
Right.
have your group that deals particularly with your family practice and your OBGYNs and so forth.
Okay.
So what happens is once they go onto our website, advancedmd.com,
Okay.
and they'll fill out a lead form, it'll be routed to the right associate.
Right.
And someone that knows what they're going through and has a set of expertise concerning their practice.
Okay. Now.
We even segregate by upmarket, large
Okay.
physician practices to your smaller ones. So we have a rep that is well trained to take care of you.
So say I'm again just going back to dentists. Say I'm a dentist and I've talked with one of the salespeople, and I want to talk with somebody else that is using Advanced that is a dentist. Do you?
Yeah, dentists is one of the specialties that is a challenge. We don't typically deal a lot with
Okay.
the dentist side, but in any of the other specialties,
Okay.
if they
Yeah,
have
any specialty.
yeah, so they've dealt with their sales associate and they want to now communicate with someone else. I mean, we're very open to clients talking to current clients and references and so forth. There's nothing to hide for us. We do a great job and retain a very high percent. We focus on as I said, the retention of the customer for life.
Okay, great. Now, ongoing things that you do to just educate people on Advanced without them feeling like they have to talk to someone, because a lot of people they don't want to talk to anybody.
Absolutely. You can go to our website and we have webinars all the time where they can sign up for webinars, different topics, different things that we'll focus on.
Okay.
And a lot of it's often related to the fix and the product that we have, but we run webinars every single month, and so you can go to advancedmd.com and find all the webinars.
So I understand you've recently done an update with your website.
Yep.
Right? What was that all about?
Yeah, so our marketing team is wonderful, just trying to stay, obviously as things change, we add more products and trying to make it as user-friendly as possible is what we want to do. We obviously understand that some people are just looking for information. We want to make it as easy as possible to deal with, and that's our philosophy, so we're always looking to better ourselves.
Okay. Now on the website, is there some place people can go to subscribe to newsletters?
Yeah, so if you just go to advancedmd.com, it will be very easy to navigate through the website, and you can see particularly your specialty in general and what it is you're looking for. If you're looking for newsletters or webinars, it'll give you all the information you need right there.
Any other social platforms that you're connected with?
We do. So we have a function called Nest, which is run by our services team, which allows our clients to communicate with us.
Yeah.
Obviously, of course, we're on Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram and so forth.
Sure.
But Nest is wonderful because our clients can subscribe to updates. They can also pose questions where we can see, kind of the pulse of clients and emphasize what needs to be fixed. So it's wonderful.
I think that is wonderful because, again, a lot of people don't even know what kind of questions to ask. They just know they have certain things that have to happen in order for the practice to run. A book I read by an author named Rory Vaden called Procrastinate on Purpose talks about kind of a hierarchy of how to make decisions. So the first, when making a decision, the first would be eliminate. The next would be delegate. The next would be automate. And then the last is, to procrastinate on purpose. Would you say that a big mission of Advanced MD is to help practices to be able to do more with less? And what would you say some of the challenges are in automating things like a billing service?
Yeah. So our philosophy is saving private practice, giving them the time back. One, financially is the most important thing for any physician practice, is making sure they get paid.
Right.
The second is efficiency. So we're trying to become that clear, vendor of choice, so to speak, that makes their life easier. And so we're trying to get back to the practice, of course, giving them more time to focus on building their practice, giving them more money to claim and get what they deserve to be paid, and overall efficiencies. But the great thing about our organization that I've always loved about Advanced MD is we put the customer first, trying to figure out ways to be innovative, to help them, and to make it cost affordable as well.
Great. Well, and those of you that have been watching today, I hope that you felt that, boy, if you determine that Advanced MD could be a good fit for you, that you'll be taken care of, that they want you to keep the money inside the practice and something that you can take home as much as possible. They want to help you to focus on doing what you do best, which is helping provide superior patient care. So for those of you interested, again, what was the website again that they can go to?
AdvancedMD.com.
Okay, AdvancedMD.com. And certainly,
they can also call. If you go to advancedmd.com, there's a 1-800 number they can call and get direct to sales. And I'm of course happy to talk to any potential customers, future customers, or current customers to make sure their needs are being met.
Fantastic. Well, Josh, thanks so much for letting us hang out with you for a little bit, get kind of an inside scoop on who you are and who Advanced MD is.
Yeah, thank you.
And hope everybody makes it a great day. Hope you're safe out there, and happy holidays. Thank you so much.
Thank you.